Hello, students. Welcome to our this second in today's session. Our discussion is about IFRS 16 leases as well as financial instruments, and we will cover IFRS 15 revenue recognition. So these are the three standards which we are going to discuss in today's session. First of all, we are going to start the discussion about IFRS 16, which is about leases and what would be the expected accomplishment of this topic. We will discuss about the objective of this standard. We will talk about the scope of this standard. We will talk about definitions. We will talk about lessees accounting initial measurement. We will talk about lessees accounting subsequent measurement. We will discuss sale and lease back uh, agreement treatment, and we will talk about some exam questions. So first of all, what is the objective of this standard? We are supposed to discuss that. Is to establish the principles for recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosures of leases. So this standard is supposed to give you the guidelines about recognition criteria of recognition criteria of leases, how leases will be measured, how it will be presented in your financial statements, and what are the disclosures required of what? Of leases. Okay. Now, the scope of this standard, this standard will apply to all leases, including subleases, except following thing. Leases to explore for or use mineral oil, natural gas, and similar non-regenerative resources. Leases of biological assets held by a lessee. Service concession arrangements and licenses of intellectual property granted by the lessor. And rights held by a lessee under licensing agreement for items such as films, videos, plays, manuscripts, patents, and copyrights within the scope of IS 38 intangible assets. So else these arrangements on all other sort of leases will be dealt as per the rules and guidance of IFRS 16. I would like to discuss the history of this standard. Previously, leases were dealt under IS 17, and over there it was classified as finance lease and operating lease. So there was misuse by the accountants to recognize about uh, the things they were going to do, the window dressing. They were applying the creative accountings because alternative treatments were allowed. To manage that thing, this standard was introduced, and it replaced IS 17 leases. Now, these definitions are very important. First one, lease. What is lease? It is a contract. It is a contract or part of a contract. So first of all, we should have to understand what is contract. Contract is an agreement enforceable by law. Contract is an agreement enforceable by law. What sort of the contract lease is that conveys the right to use an asset, which grants the right to use an asset. It means physical, it transfers the physical possession of what? Underlying asset for a period of time in exchange for consideration. So lease is a contract. Contract is always for a specific time period, which is also mentioned here that it is for a period of time in exchange for consideration. Now, it is also a characteristic of every contract that there must be an element of consideration. You people are familiar because you have passed your paper F4, which is related to law. So here it is also required that there is an element of consideration. So it is a contract which gives the right of use of an asset to one party in exchange of consideration. Then lessor is the entity that provides the right to use to use an underlying asset in exchange for consideration. So lessor is an entity which gives that right. So this is the party who is handing over the asset. On the other side, lessee. Lessee is the entity that obtains the right to use an underlying asset. So lessee is getting the asset, is receiving the asset, and lessor is giving the asset in exchange for consideration. So who are the parties of lease agreement? Lessor and lessee. Then right of use asset. A right of use asset is an asset that represents the lessee's right to use an underlying asset for a lease term. It is an asset upon which, due to this contract, lessee got the right to use that asset. In very simple words. Okay. Interest rate implicit in the lease. It is an interest rate that yields a present value of lease payments and the ungranted residual value equal to the sum of fair value of underlying asset and an initial direct cost of the lessor. So it is an interest rate which gives the present value of future lease payments equal to what? The fair value of underlying asset and an initial direct cost of the lessor. So the present value which you will get by discounting the future cash flows on this interest rate would be equal to what? Fair value of underlying asset plus initial direct cost of the lessor. These two things. So sum of these two things and the present value of future lease payments and ungranted residual value. Ungranted residual value we'll talk about later. Equal to the this. So that interest rate is called interest rate implicit in the lease. Lease term. This is non-cancelable period, first of all, which lessee cannot cancel. And for that, our lessor cannot cancel, which a lessee has the right to use an underlying asset. Plus, the period which is covered by an extension option. Now, what is option? This is the right to the holder of the option. It is the discretionary authority of that holder of the option whether he will use that or not. So option in a very general term is a discretionary authority. If exercise of that option by the lessee is reasonably certain, but it will be whether when extension option is available to the lessee and you are reasonably certain, it means chances of occurrence are more than non-occurrence that he will extend the time period, and period covered by a termination option if the lessee is reasonably certain not to exercise that option. Now, one option is extension option, that the lessee can extend the lease time period. Other is he can terminate the lease contract. But if you are reasonably certain that he will not terminate the contract, in that case, non-cancelable period plus extension period, if they will he will exercise, and you are reasonably certain for that, and termination period which you are reasonably certain that he will never exercise. These three sums would be total lease term period. How lessee will do the accounting in his books. In paper FR, examiner is going to test you only lessee accounting. For this, what is the basic principle? At the commencement of lease, lessee should recognize a right of use asset and a lease liability. Now, lessee will do two things. First of all, he will recognize the asset with the title right of use asset, and he will recognize the liability. Now, journal entry would be right to use asset debit and lease liability credit and cash credit if he has made at the spot any payment. This would be the journal entry to recognize. Initial recognition is this. After that, initially it would be measured, right to use this, it would be measured at cost. So how cost will be determined? It will comprises initial measurement of lease liability, amount of initial measurement of lease liability plus lease payment made at or before the commencement date. If you have made any upfront payment, that is lease payment made at or before the commencement date, any initial direct cost related to do that agreement, you will add, and the estimated cost of removing or dismantling the underlying asset as per the condition of the lease. This is again dismantling cost present value, but it will depend upon whether it is a part of agreement that you are supposed to dismantle or remove the asset at the end of the lease term period, then lease liability. Initially, it will be measured at what? Present value of lease payments that have not yet been paid. So it would be the present value of future lease installments. What could be those payments? Fixed payments and any amount expected to be payable under residual value guarantee. Now, what is residual value guarantee? We will discuss later on. This is something new, incorporated by this new standard. Then option to purchase the assets that are reasonably certain to be exercised. If at the end of the lease term, lessee have an option to purchase that asset, and if he will exercise that option and he is supposed to make any payment, that will be also included to calculate the present value. And termination penalties if the lease term reflect the expectation that these will be incurred. If due to the lease agreement, you have any penalty, you are supposed to pay any penalty as a lessee, then that would be also part of your future cash flows. What is residual value guarantee? It is a guarantee that is provided to whom? Lessor, that underlying asset at the end of the lease term will be worth less than that specified amount. So lessor is granting that at the end of time period, that your asset would not be less than this amount. So if market value of the asset would be less than that, in that case, lessee will buy that asset. He is granting that amount. That is called residual value granting. Example. On 1st January 2021, Dynamic entered into a 2-year lease for a lorry. The contract contains an option to extend the lease term for a further year. Dynamic believes that it is reasonably certain to exercise this option. Lorries have a useful economic life of 10 years. Now, this is the 2-year contract for a lease, and there is an option to extend the lease term period for further year. Okay. Now, Dynamic believes that it is reasonably certain to exercise this option. There is a reasonable certainty. So it means your lease term period would be first 2 years of original contract plus 1 year of that lessee will exercise the option. Its economic useful life is 10 years, which is more. Lease payments are $10,000 per year for initial term. Initial term is these 2 years plus 15,000 per year for the option period, which is only 1 year. All payments are due at the end of the year. To obtain the lease, Dynamic incur initial direct cost of 3,000. Interest rate within the lease is not readily determinable. Dynamic's incremental rate of borrowing is 5%. Now, this is the implicit interest rate. Required, calculate the initial carrying amount of lease liability and the right of use asset and provide the double entries needed to record these amounts in dynamic financial records. Now, first of all, lease liability. We will calculate the present value of all future lease payments. These are 10,000 for year 1, 10,000 for year 2, and 15,000 for year 3. This is the option time period. This is the original contract period, non-cancelable time period. 0.952 discount rate for first year at the rate of 5%, which is calculated by 1.05 x raised per minus 1, 1.05 x raised per minus 2, and 1.505 x raised per minus 3. So these are calculated. We multiplied this with this and we got this figure, and so on. This is the present value. So at this value, you will record your liability. Then right to use asset. It would be, you must have to remember that 3,000 was incurred at the initial start. Lease liability 31,552 plus direct cost, which is 3,000. So your right to use asset total value would be 34,552. Journal entry would be, please mute your voice. Right to use asset 34,552 with this figure. 2. credit lease liability with 31,552, which we have calculated, plus credit cash with 3,000. Okay, let's see accounting. Subsequent measurement. Now, right to use asset will be depreciated using cost model. As we have discussed in last day's session under IS 16. And at which time period we will depreciate our asset. First of all, if you are certain that at the end of the lease term period, the ownership right of the asset will be transferred to the lessee, then it would be charged over the useful life. Otherwise, depreciation would be charged over the shorter of useful life or lease term, which is normally lease term period, is shorter than useful life. Then lease liability. Every year, lease liability will be calculated by which is increased with the interest charge and reduced by cash repayment. Now, how it will be calculated will depend upon at which date your lease term is started. When interest charge, what would be the journal entry? Then finance cost debit and lease liability credit. When cash paid, lease liability debit to cash credit. So these are the journal entries once you are doing the subsequently payment and charging the interest cost. Now, this is the table which I was supposed to discuss with you. The first possibility is that lease installment is made in arrear at the end of every accounting period. In that case, your format would be this: at year one, balance brought down, starting balance plus interest, which calculated by multiplying rate with this amount, minus payment and closing balance. And next year, this would be the opening balance. And then again, interest will be calculated by multiplying this with interest rate. Then you subtracted the payment, and then this is the closing balance. But keep in mind, for lease liability, you are supposed to distinguish between current liability and non-current liability. We'll discuss later on. When payment is made in advance, then format would be bit different. Year one, opening balance minus payment, because all payment is done from this, then subtotal, and then you will charge interest on this subtotal by multiplying with the interest rate. And then you will add this interest rate to calculate the closing balance. Then this closing balance would be next year opening balance. Again, you will subtract the payment, then the subtotal will come, and you will calculate the interest on this subtotal. Now, the summary of this thing is, if your payment is in arrear, on opening balance, you will calculate interest, then you will subtract the payment. But if your payment is made in advance, then first of all, you will subtract the payment, then the balance which comes after subtracting the payment, you will calculate the interest on that figure. Example, same example, 3 years term lorry, and for first 2 years you have 10,000 payment per year, and the next year you have 15,000, and you have direct cost 3,000. Interest rate is 5%. You are supposed to prepare the extracts for the first year and 31st December 20x1, extracts of statement of financial position and statement of profit and loss. Solution. Now, first of all, we'll calculate the depreciation. We have decided that the depreciation will be calculated at shorter of lease term period or useful life. Useful life in this case was 10 years, but lease term period is 3 years. So this is the right to use asset value. 31,552 was a liability plus 3,000 initial cost. So 34,552 divided by 3 is equal to 11,517. Now, second section is about lease liability table from where we will calculate the interest. Now, payment was in arrear. So, opening balance was 31,552, which is the present value of future lease installments we have calculated in previous example, which is 31,552. We calculated interest on this figure, which is multiplied with 5% equals to this. Then we subtracted the payment, and this is the closing balance. And from there, this is the opening balance. Again, what we have done, we calculated 5% interest rate is equal to 1557. Then subtracted the lease payment, it is 14,287. Okay. Now, from this 14,287, we calculated at 5%, it is 713, and last year you made the payment of 15,000. Now you have closing balance nil. Now, how you will do the extract? First of all, statement of profit and loss, depreciation calculated in working one, then finance cost, which is calculated in working two for this year, 1578. Now, statement of profit and financial position for that non-current asset, original cost was how much? 34,552. Now, 34,552 out of this 11,517 is depreciation. Then your carrying value is 23,035, which is calculated 34,552 minus 11,517. In this way, this is calculated. Then non-current liabilities. Now, I have discussed with you that this is your total liability at the end of the accounting period. Out of this, the principal which you are going to pay in next accounting period would be your current liability, and remaining figure would be non-current liabilities. So this is your non-current liability. Yes, Shagufta, it would be available on my YouTube channel, which is Arshad Bhutta Official. And if you will drop your WhatsApp number, I'll share the later on study notes, these PPT files, as well as on my YouTube channel and on Wi-Fi official YouTube channel, you will find these lectures. My YouTube channel is Arshad Bhutta Official, which you should have to subscribe if you will go on YouTube, and also Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi YouTube channel is with the name of Wi-Fi. Okay. Drop your WhatsApp number to me through chat box. Okay. Now, 5%, 1557. This is the interest rate for interest cost for the next year. Now, from these two figures, this is your non-current liability for non-current liability because it is payable after 1 year. But the difference of these two, 23,130 and 14,287, would be your current liability because it is payable. You can calculate by getting the difference of these two figures, or from your total installment payment, 10,000. If you will subtract your interest cost, if you will subtract your interest cost, again you will find this figure, say 10,000 minus 1557, it's this figure, or 23130 minus 14287, again this is the same figure. Okay, keep in mind this is the bit complex scenario, that examiner is always asking you to split your non-current liabilities into non-current components and current components. Say for next year, if you are supposed to prepare the extracts at the end of second year, then you don't have any non-current liability component. You have only current liability component, because at the next year your lease term period will be finished, contract will be exhausted. Okay. Now, what to do? This is the new development in IFRS 16 as compared to IS 17. You may have some short life and low value assets. What are the short life assets whose life is less than 12 months? And low value assets, for these standard says that does not specify any specific monetary value, but normally what is the practice? These are the assets those value is less than $5,000 US $5,000. Those are considered as low value assets. But he has given some examples to us: tablets, small PCs, telephones, and some all items of furniture. These are considered as low value assets. So standards says that it's accounting treatment. If you have short life or low value asset, you can use simplified treatment, which is lessee can choose to recognize the lease payment in profit and loss on straight line basis. No lease liability or right of use asset would therefore be recognized. What you will do, you will simply expense out your lease payments, and you will never recognize any right to use asset or any lease liability. Then our next discussion is about sale and lease back. Okay. Now, sales and lease back. What is this? That you are the seller, you sold your asset to buyer. Okay. Let's assume this is the vehicle which seller have sold to buyer. Now, first transaction is of sale and purchase. But buyer don't take the physical possession of the asset, and he transferred this vehicle again to the seller. He got this asset at lease back through lease contract. So this is called sale and lease back. Now, what is the question mark? First of all, we should have to consider whether the transfer of asset is sale or not. If yes, if it is sale, in that case, what lessee will do, first of all, he will recognize the gain on the sale of the asset, on the disposal of asset, and will recognize back as a right to use asset, because now he is lessee also, because he got the asset on lease. Okay, recognize right of use asset at proportion of previous carrying value, but through which value? Through previous carrying value. Okay. Okay. And on your previous sale, you will recognize your gain or loss like you were recognizing on any asset disposal. But on the other side, if it does not constitute as a sale, in that case, you will never de-recognize your asset. You will recognize your previous asset, and the lease you will treat it as a loan, as a financial liability under rules of IFRS 9, which we will discuss in today's session also, as a financial liability. Example, on 1st January 2001, Painting sells an item of machinery to college for its fair value of $3 million. The asset had a carrying amount of 1.2 million. Now, at which uh, value he sold 3 million, and its carrying amount is 1.2 million prior to the sale. The sale represents the satisfaction of performance obligation in accordance with IFRS 15. uh, Revenue from contracts with customers. Painting entered into a contract with the college for a right to use the asset for the next 5 years. Annual payment of 500,000 are due to the end at due at the end of each year. The interest rate implicit in the lease is 10%. Keep in mind, in your paper FR, implicit interest rate will always be given to you. The present value of the annual lease payments is 1.9 million. So what he did for these lease payments, he has already calculated your present value. You are not supposed to calculate it by using this discount rate. Now, he said that as per the rules of IFRS 15, this sale satisfies that it is a sale. So what lessee will do, first of all, he will record the sale, and then he will record the asset as a right to use asset and also lease liability. The remaining useful life of the machine is much greater than the lease term period. So we will depreciate on lower of which is lease term. Depreciation would be charged on this basis. Required. Explain how painting will account for the transaction on 1st January. He is just asking you to account for at 1st January 20x1. Now, for this purpose, but we have solution. Painting must remove the carrying amount of the machine from its statement of financial position. It should instead recognize a right to use asset. New asset will be recognized as a right to use asset, and old asset will be de-recognized. The right of use asset will be measured as the proportion of the previous carrying amount that relates to the rights retained by paintings. Now, how you will calculate it? It would be in proportion. 1.9 divided by 5 times 1.2 million. Now, what is this? It is equal to 0.76. 3 million is the fair value of the asset, and its carrying value is 1.2 million, and present value of future installments is 1.9 million. So this would be recognized in proportion of this. So 3 million, 1.9 million divided by 3 million multiplied by 1.2 million. You can also write down 1.2 divided by 3 multiplied by 1.9 equal to 0.76. And what would be the journal entry? Right to use asset at 0.76 proportionately. This is the thing to your fair value and carrying value. Debit cash 3 million, which you have received. Credit machine at 1.2 million, which you have de-recognized, and lease liability 1.9 million, which is the present value of future cash flows, and gain or loss, it would be the balancing figure. So if you will balance out this, there is a gain. Okay. Can you please, sorry for interruption. So this was the whole discussion about lease term period. Yes. If lease back is not a sale, in that case, you will never de-recognize your asset. You have recognized and you will charge normally your depreciation. Then journal entry would be cash debit, which you have got today, and your loan liability credit. It is simple a loan, nothing else. Okay? Aska, you got this point? Please mute your voice. The amount which is you are getting right now, which is if I will go with the same scenario, then just then it would be, if it is the same scenario, that would be the amount. Asset carrying value is 1.2 million, but its fair value is 3 million, and you have sold this figure for this amount, because this is the consideration which you are getting 1.9 million in 2 days term. So your liability would be from very first day with 1.9 million. Okay, so that would be constituted as your loan. This would be the figure, 1.9 million. Okay, so this is the benefit which you are getting. Clear? So this was the whole discussion